Imagine waking up to find your savings slashed in half overnight. Your pension cut, your job gone. The government says it's out of money, but the banks still demand their payments. And in the streets of Athens, thousands protest as police clash with citizens demanding answers. How does a modern European nation, birthplace of democracy, philosophy, and the Olympic Games, end up on the verge of financial collapse, begging for bailouts and selling its future just to stay afloat? The Greek debt crisis is not just a story about numbers. It's a cautionary tale about how governments, banks, and even entire populations can slowly march into disaster, and how the solutions offered often create new chains instead of freedom. This is the story of how Greece sold its future. Chapter 1. Setting the stage. A country on borrowed time. To understand the Greek debt crisis, we need to step back before the headlines of 2009, because the truth is the seeds of the crisis were planted decades earlier. In the 1980s and 1990s, Greece was a nation with big ambitions. After a military dictatorship collapsed in 1974, the country wanted to rebuild its democratic institutions and rejoin Europe as a full partner. By 1981, Greece became a member of the European Economic Community, a step toward prosperity, but also one that required massive modernization of its economy. But there was a problem. Greece had a reputation for weak tax collection, bloated public spending, and political favoritism. Governments often promised generous wages and pensions to secure votes, but the country struggled to collect enough taxes to pay for them. Still, with the dream of joining the Eurozone, the elite club of nations using the new common currency, the euro, Greece had an incentive to look stable, modern, and creditworthy. Here enters the first twist. The very institutions designed to keep Greece honest, European officials, banks, and auditors, often looked the other way. Chapter 2. The euro and the temptation of easy money. In 2001, Greece officially adopted the euro. For ordinary Greeks, this was a proud moment. Joining the Eurozone meant being part of the strongest economies in Europe. It was supposed to bring low inflation, stability, and access to cheaper borrowing. And it did, but this new access to cheap loans also fueled something darker. Because now investors believed that Greece was as safe to lend to as Germany or France. Interest rates fell. Suddenly, Greece could borrow massive amounts of money at rock-bottom rates. Politicians took advantage, piling on debt to fund public sector jobs, infrastructure projects, and social programs. Athens even spent billions hosting the 2004 Olympic Games, a showcase of modern Greece, but one that left behind massive debt and empty stadiums. The numbers tell the story. By 2008, Greek government debt had ballooned to over 100% of GDP. The budget deficit, how much the government overspent compared to what it collected, soared well beyond EU limits. But investors didn't panic yet. After all, Greece was part of the euro. Surely no Eurozone member could ever go bankrupt, right? This assumption would soon prove deadly wrong. Chapter 3. The breaking point, global crisis meets local weakness. In 2008, the global financial crisis hit. Banks collapsed, markets panicked, and suddenly investors began looking at which governments could actually repay their debts. For Greece, this was a nightmare. Not only was the country deeply indebted, but its economy was fragile. Tax evasion was rampant. Billions of euros went uncollected every year. Public sector wages and pensions were unsustainably high, and productivity lagged far behind Northern European nations. Then came the bombshell. In late 2009, Greece's new Prime Minister, George Papandreou, revealed that the previous government had massively underreported the deficit. Instead of 6% of GDP, it was closer to 13%. Investors felt deceived. Trust evaporated overnight. Greek bonds were suddenly seen as toxic. Borrowing costs skyrocketed. The illusion that Greece was as safe as Germany shattered. Chapter 4. Bailouts and austerity. The price of survival. In May 2010, the European Union and the International Monetary Fund stepped in with an €11 billion bailout package, the largest in history at the time. The deal was simple but brutal. In exchange for emergency loans, Greece had to slash its budget deficit through austerity measures. That meant wage cuts, pension reductions, tax hikes, and sweeping privatizations. For ordinary Greeks, it felt like punishment. Unemployment soared above 25%. Youth unemployment reached nearly 60%. Poverty rates doubled. Thousands of businesses closed. Yet despite the suffering, the debt problem didn't go away. In fact, it got worse, because austerity shrank the economy, making it even harder for Greece to repay its debts. It was like trying to pay off a mortgage while your salary keeps getting cut. By 2012, Greece needed a second bailout. Another 130 billion euros. This time, private investors were forced to take losses in what was then the largest debt restructuring in history. But even this wasn't enough. The crisis dragged on for years, leading to political upheaval. The radical left party Syriza came to power in 2015, promising to end austerity. But after months of standoff with creditors, Greece was forced into a third bailout worth 86 billion euros. The cycle was clear. Greece borrowed, imposed austerity, and borrowed again. Each round left the economy weaker, the people angrier, and the debt mountain higher. Chapter 5. Modern parallels. History rhymes. Why does this story matter today? Because the Greek crisis is not unique. It's part of a larger pattern we see across the world. Consider this. Global debt reached a record $307 trillion in 2023. Governments from the US to Japan to Italy are running massive deficits, borrowing at levels once thought impossible. And just like Greece, many assume they're too big to fail. But are they? The same ingredients are present. Over-reliance on debt, political promises without funding, and faith that markets will always keep lending. Yet, as Greece proved, once trust evaporates, collapse can happen almost overnight. Argentina has defaulted 9 times. Sri Lanka collapsed in 2022. Even advanced nations face debt to GDP ratios that echo Greece's levels before the crash. The Greek tragedy was a preview, a reminder that debt can enslave nations, and that rescue packages often come with chains attached. Conclusion. A warning for the future. Greek debt crisis wasn't just about one country. It was a mirror held up to the modern financial system. It showed how nations can live beyond their means, how creditors enable the addiction, and how ordinary people pay the price when the bill comes due. The question is, will we learn from it? Or will we see the same playbook repeat in Italy, in emerging markets, even in global superpowers? History suggests that debt crises don't disappear, they evolve. And the Greek story is a warning that selling your future may buy time today, but at the cost of freedom tomorrow. If you found this story valuable, subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden forces shaping our world. And remember, in economics, as in life, nothing is ever truly free.